What's good, family? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? This is Chief Kalinago once again with another video, man. All right, let me make sure I have audio on here. All righty. Before we get into this, boom. All righty. So we good. We good. We good. All right then. I know you guys be like, "Whoa, man, Chief is on a roll, huh?" All right, yeah, I'm on a roll, man, because when I get busy, I won't be, doing all these videos. So I'm giving you guys as much information as I can. Okay. So you'll have enough materials to go through. All right. Because when I get busy, I take long breaks. So I want to make sure I give you guys enough information. All right. So I want to acknowledge the great spirit, universal intelligence, the great I am. I want to give thanks and honor to my ancestors. And all this information is for educational purposes. Guys, do me a favor once more, man. Please share this information with your children. Especially this one here too. Okay. What's going on? What's going on, Nikki? What's going on? That's my family right there. All right. Guys, I'm gonna talk about the 13th Amendment, and I'm gonna talk about how it's how slavery is actually legal in the United States. I mean, of course, we know in my opinion, you know, um, voluntary, slavery exists. You know what I'm saying? But based on the Constitution, slavery can exist in the United States, and that is stated in the 13th Amendment. So I'm gonna go over that with you guys. Also, we're gonna go over the correlation between the 13th Amendment and you becoming a slave through the 13th Amendment, and how it's coherent, or it correlates with the prison system and how much prisoners make. All right, across the state. All right, all this I'm sharing with you guys, again, is for educational purposes. To teach your children. Let them know that this is real out here. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna get right into it. The first thing I'm gonna do is let's go into the 13th Amendment. All right, and break that down. Okay. So remember, you could lose your civil liberties a couple of ways. All right. So liviter matuus. All right. One way is through acts of the government. Okay. And one of the ways it exists with our people is that them going around calling themselves Black or African American. All right. Well, preferably Black. Okay. It means dead in law. So with that being said, you have no civil liberties. Okay, but we're looking at the 13th Amendment here. Okay, and it states, Section 1, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment or crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. All right, Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. Now, let me break that down for y'all. Okay, and you will see the reason why I had to show you the video about the United States having the largest prison population in the entire world. I mean, as a matter of fact, Louisiana alone has the largest prison population than all the other countries put together. Okay, and so all that stuff is, once again, it is part of commerce. It is part of the United States business. If you don't remember, the United States is a corporation. Okay. Title 28, Section 2003. And I've shown that on many occasions. Go down to subsection 15, capital A. All this is about commerce, business. Sending people to jail is business. All right. Now, enslaving people is also business. All right. So it had to be abolished. In 1865, slavery was abolished legally, but slavery is such a booming business that the United States just couldn't let it go. So they made a provision in the 13th Amendment that neither slavery, okay, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except, that key word, that's the provision. They're saying that, hey, you know what? We are going to abolish slavery, all right? But we're going to give you a provision, except, all right? That's the key word, except as a punishment for a crime, okay? Whereof the party shall be duly convicted shall exist within the United States and any place subject to their jurisdiction. That key word is except, okay? So, and another key word is crime, okay? What is the definition of a crime? Now, within law, lawfully, a crime is committed when you harm somebody, you damage somebody's property, or you defraud somebody, which is some type of harm, right? So in other words, you have to bring some type of harm to another individual or damage somebody's property. That is a lawful crime. However, the system have legal crimes which are not lawful crimes. Okay? And when you don't know your rights, all right, you get caught up in the system because you think misdemeanors such as traffic infractions and all these different things where someone is not harmed or you have not damaged somebody's property, you think those are crimes. No, they're not crimes. Okay? They are statutes, code, and ordinances, and they are not crimes. A crime is only committed when you have harmed someone or damaged somebody's property. That's the only time lawfully a crime is committed. All right? In that case, you go to court and you have been duly convicted, then the United States has a right in their system. I'm not saying it's moral, but in their system, in the corporate system, in the administrative system, then they could make you a slave because now it becomes legal. But you have to commit a crime. Okay? But because a lot of you don't know what a crime is and think anything is a crime, then you go to jail and become a slave. All right? So I just wanted to break down the 13th Amendment for you. The key word there is accept. Okay? We are not going to promote slavery. We are not going to promote involuntary servitude, except the only way we could do it is if you're committed with a crime. And that's why with them, a crime, the word or the term crime, okay, is such a generalization that they could literally turn anything into a crime to make you a slave because of the 13th Amendment, and the Constitution supports it. Okay? All right. I hope that makes sense to you guys. All right? So let us go to the next article. Teach your children, family. Teach your children, please. Okay? Teach them. Online degrees, that's the site, online degrees Kent.education or edu, okay? And that's sociology / criminal justice community. How much do prisoners make in each state? All right, that's what we're going to go over. Now, the reason why I had to go over that and bring the 13th Amendment in is to kind of, validate and put a stamp to prove to you and show you again why the United States has the biggest prison population, because the United States still participates in slavery. Okay, they just found a legal way, all right, in their system, in their eyes of law, what they call law, to make slavery legal. Okay, so how much do prisoners make in each state? And that's an article from August 27th, 2021. Penal labor, that's what it's called. Penal labor in the United States is explicitly allowed by the 13th Amendment of our Constitution. That's why I had to go read the Constitution for you. Okay? That's why I had to go read the Constitution first. Penal labor in the United States is explicitly allowed, okay? Opposed to calling it slavery, they call it penal labor, all right? A key word, all right, for another word for slavery. Allowed by the 13th Amendment of our Constitution. The amendment outlaws slavery or involuntary servitude in the U.S., except, Here we go with the key word again. When serving as punishment for a crime where the person has been duly convicted. In the most generous light, you could see this as a way to provide training and work to inmates. But in reality, it's often used in the United States to close the budget gaps with cheap labor and to offset the cost of running a prison. Generally, wages that inmates can earn are extremely low. Inmates earn just pennies on the dollar of what someone outside the prison could earn for equivalent work. Sometimes they aren't paid at all. Why? Because they are now considered slaves. All right? Jobs range widely from prison kitchen duty to manufacturing or even firefighting. Okay? Average wages for inmates. It's difficult to find recent statistics for prison wages in each state, in part because there is no central place where that data is collected and kept. Each prison system and state legislature determines how prison labor is regulated and paid. Typically, wages range from 14 cents to $2 an hour for prison maintenance labor, depending on the state where the inmate is incarcerated. I'm going to read that again. Typically, wages range from 14 cents to $2 per hour for prison maintenance labor, depending on the state where the inmate is incarcerated. All right? Talk to your children. Okay? If you think life out here is hard, okay, because you want to be a gang, you want to be a gangster, you want to go out there and violate people. All right? Now, mind you, I am very mindful of what I'm saying. I said hurt people, because unless you have hurt someone or damaged somebody's property, you haven't committed a crime. But because my people perish for the lack of knowledge, they don't know what a crime is in law, and they're looking at crime from a legal perspective, which is not law. Okay? Those crimes, what they call crimes, they are being governed by the color of law. And I will pull that up in just a few seconds. Okay? So you get paid 14 cents, or sometimes you don't get paid at all. Okay? The national average hovers around 63 cents per hour for this type of labor. In some states, prisoners work for free. Okay? Minnesota and New Jersey pays $2 per hour for prison maintenance jobs. All right? For prison maintenance jobs, inmates can earn $2 per hour in Minnesota and New Jersey, which is very high compared with other states. Inmates who produce manufactured goods often earn higher wages from other prison jobs, reaching upwards of $1.41 per hour, depending on the location. Oftentimes, these goods are later sold to government agencies or nonprofits. Of course, they turn around that and sell that for thousands of dollars. So basically, once again, they make slavery legal. Okay? And guess who is part of the biggest slavery population? Okay? Now, let me ask you a question. Why aren't they dealing with that situation? Okay. 8 states pay nothing to inmates. Unfortunately, government-run facilities in some states don't pay their inmates at all for their prison labor. Those states include Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Texas. Despite not being paid for their labor, inmates may still want to work because it could help their chances of being released on parole. Wages can be taken away, and this is how. Even when inmates can work with high-paying jobs, mind you, the highest is $2 an hour, all right? Part of their wages can be taken by the prison to pay for their room and board and court costs or other fees. So now you're in prison. You got to pay rent in prison because you're working a good job of making $2 an hour. Okay? Teach y'all children the truth about life out here. Okay, I'm going to read that again. Wages can be taken away. Now, mind you, the highest prison pay all right, is $2 an hour. That's considered a good job, all right? So you hear a prisoner talking about, yo, son, I got a good job. How much you making, bro? Like, man, $2 an hour. You get a pound because that's a good job compared to working for free or 14 cents an hour or the average 63 cents an hour in certain states, okay? But your wages can be taken away, and this is how. Even when inmates can work higher paying jobs, part of their wages can be taken by the prison to pay for their room and board, court costs, or other fees. In Massachusetts, half of the inmates' wages go to pay for expenses after release. And in New Mexico, 15 to 20% goes to a crime victims reparations fund, discharge money, and family support. So when you think it's your tax dollars paying for those programs, reparations fund or discharge, no. Or for crime victims reparation, no. The prisoners have to work for that and fund those institutions, okay? Expenses further reduce inmate pay. Here's another way, okay? They're taking their money. So basically, you know, you end up owing the prison after they take out all this money from your pay, all right? Wages for inmates are even lower when considered the number of fees charged and the cost of necessary items sold to people in prison. A female inmate in Colorado has to spend 2 weeks of wages just to buy 1 box of tampons, okay? It is a whole world, a different world. It's part of the legal system. That's why I tell people, if you cannot speak legalese, don't be a part of this legal system. Because you don't speak legalese, you don't understand the law, you don't know what law is. That's why it's a whole new world. I'm going to read that again, okay? Expenses further reduce inmates' pay. Wages for inmates are even lower when you consider the number of fees charged and the cost of necessary items sold to people in prison. A female inmate in Colorado has to spend 2 weeks of wages, family, just to buy a box of tampons. A Pennsylvania inmate will need to spend almost 2 weeks of wages on a $10 phone card. Types of jobs inmates have. Inmates work many types of jobs. They might fall into one of several categories. Regular prison inmate jobs, jobs for state-owned businesses. Of course, the state is making the money. All right, so the state don't just make money from your taxes, okay? They have businesses that the state owned. Now, mind you, the state is a legal entity, it's a corporation. So let me ask you a question. Who own those businesses they say that state owned? You see, y'all have to open up your mind. All right? You have jobs outside the facility and jobs for private businesses as well. Some of these jobs can be extremely dangerous, but who cares? They're slaves. Okay? Prison maintenance jobs. Jobs that inmates perform to maintain the prison are the most common and also the lowest paying jobs. These jobs might include cooking food, washing laundry, or custodial work. Many people will argue that this type of labor is necessary to keep the prison running without spending more taxpayer dollars. But the point is they still take your taxpayer money, all right, making you think it's for these purposes when it's for privately owned individuals that own these businesses. Prison is a business, okay? The United States is a corporation. It has owners. Every state in the U.S. outside of Alaska has a correctional agency that functions as a business inside what? Prisons. Family, it's a business. I keep telling y'all, I don't make these things up. I'm just giving you the facts. Talk to our young children, please. Talk to our people, please. I'm begging y'all. These correctional agencies operate shops that employ inmates and sell goods and services exclusively to government agencies. For example, public universities in Virginia are required to buy their furniture from Virginia's prison labor company. All right? A prison labor company, that's what it's called. Outside facility jobs. Some inmates can work outside the prison as part of a work release program, work camp, or community work center. In Nebraska, for instance, inmates clean the governor's mansion. Private business jobs. Sometimes businesses may contract with the prison to operate inside the prison walls and employ inmates, right? But yet still they're talking about there are no jobs. They got jobs, they just let prisoners do it for free, or 63 cents, below 63 cents, and a high paying job is $2 an hour. Okay. I don't know why United States citizens aren't outraged. Okay. That's one of the reasons why you're losing jobs. Okay. And we have the biggest prison population in the world. In fact, just again, and may I reiterate, Louisiana has more prisoners than all the prisons put together pretty much around the world. Think about what I just said. Okay. These companies pay much higher wages, but unfortunately, inmates might see only a tiny portion of their wages. The bulk of it is typically taken by the prison to pay for fees. Dangerous jobs. Inmates often suffer from unsafe working conditions. Some of the higher paying jobs are, by their very nature, extremely dangerous, like firefighting. Okay. In Arizona, professional firefighters make more than $22 per hour, while inmates firefighters are paid $1.50 per hour to fight wildfires, and only 50 cents on an hour for other firefighting work. They are not paid for breaks. And we are not outraged by this. Or maybe y'all don't know about it, right? That's why I'm educating, right? Make a difference for people in prisons. Prison wages vary widely across the country. How inmates earn money and how much they get to keep can also vary dramatically. But at the end of the day, people in prison are still people. No, they are not, because of the 13th Amendment. Even so-called black people that are not in prison, they're not considered people, because they call themselves black, and they are celibatar matuas, which means dead in law. So they are not considered people. So just imagine people in jail. No, they're definitely not people. Okay. If you would like to help bring about solutions and positive change to the criminal justice system, consider how MA in criminology and criminal justice, or basically a master's degree from Kent State University, can help. All right. So guys, I just wanted to kind of share this with you, because I think it's important that our young people know these things. All right. When they think that living a life of crime is the answer. And once again, we have to define what crime is. All right. The only time a crime is committed is when you have damaged somebody's property, or you have hurt someone or damaged somebody. Okay. You have brought harm to their person. That's the only time a crime is committed lawfully. Everything else is legal. Okay. That's the definition of crime in legalese. And the reason why you're going to jail is because the lawyers work for the state. Okay. They work for the bar association. That's a conflict of interest. They will not tell you that, because they are part of the system. That's how they get paid. Okay. Think about it. And I always use this analogy, right? Do you think LeBron James would go to Stephen Curry's coach to learn how to beat Stephen Curry? Do you think LeBron would go to Stephen Curry's coach so he could coach him how to beat Stephen Curry? What do you think Stephen Curry coach is going to do? He's going to make sure that LeBron never learned how to beat Stephen Curry. So why do you think, okay, a public defender, a public pretender, is going to defend you in an impartial way when you are being tried by the state? No. They're going to make sure the state gets some money one way or the other. Whether you take a lesser charge, a plea deal, whatever the case, the state has to make money. Okay? And if they send you to jail, it's more money. Bottom line. Okay? Now, here's another thing. let me break some things down for my people. All right. Here's another thing. The Constitution, in the preamble, it says, "We the people." Okay. So the reason why a lot of so-called black people are getting caught up in the system is because they are not considered people. I already told you, "Saliviter mortuus," dead in law. So therefore, the Constitution doesn't protect black people. Okay, that's number one. Normally, and think about it this way too. Normally, when you are being tried, is the state versus the individual. The state is the plaintiff and the individual is the defendant. But however, it is written as the people of. So the people versus the defendant. Okay? The people versus the defendant. The defendant has lost all civil liberties, okay? Because they are being tried by the people. Now, let me ask you a question. If you are one of the people, you cannot be tried by the people because it's a conflict of interest in the system. You see, the people have to be present, not the corporation. So when y'all don't understand or comprehend how this system is built, you are going to lose every single time. You see, the people versus John Doe. John Doe is not considered one of the people, because if John Doe was considered one of the people within Supreme Court law, okay, and if I'm not mistaken, even in the Constitution, one cannot testify against himself or incriminate himself in court. You see what I'm saying? So if you're one of the people, how can the people be against the people? You see what I'm saying, family? Think about what I just said. If I spoke too fast, please listen to it again, slow it down, or listen a little faster. All right? But you got to get this. You have to. Because too many of our people are getting caught up in this system. So I'm going to repeat it again, and I'm going to slow down, because when I get excited, I talk fast. Okay? I'm going to slow down. The reason why a lot of so-called black people, all right, and not just so-called black people, poor whites and so-called poor whites and so-called poor Hispanics and et cetera, et cetera. The reason why the have-nots, let me categorize it that way. The reason why the have-nots, okay, they are the biggest population in the jail system or the jail business, okay? Business is because, okay, when you're being charged, you are a defendant, and the state is a corporation, all right? The corporation cannot charge you. It has to be the people. Keep that in mind. A corporation cannot come against you because you have a right to face your accuser. Family, I'm breaking this down for y'all. So it has to be the people. The question remains, are you one of the people? If you are one of the people, then therefore you cannot incriminate yourself. The people cannot incriminate themselves by testifying against themselves. So they have to put you in the jurisdiction of a defendant at that time, when it means that you have lost some of your liberties, even if they tell you guilty until proven innocent. That's not how it works. Once again, for my people that look like me, black in law means saliviter mortuus, which means dead in law. Okay? Now let me show you how you're being governed, or if you're being governed or taken advantage under the color of law. Okay? Let me just show you this real quick. So we could, give me 1 second. Let me pull it up for y'all. Let me put it up for you, pull it up for you, pull it up for you. Like I said, I'll be getting busy real soon. So I'm giving you guys as much information as I can. All right? As much as I can. Give me 1 second, please. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Okay. And this lesson wasn't planned, guys. You know, it just came to me, so I just wanted to do it. All right. All right. So we are gonna look at this, and we're gonna look at two different perspectives. All right. So hold on for a second. I'm gonna go to the Black's Law Dictionary, second edition. All right. And then I'm gonna give it to you from another perspective, because I like to always cross-reference things, right? You see, when you don't know, once again, Hosea 4:6, God's people perish for the lack of knowledge. And I want to give y'all the knowledge, and you have to learn how to apply the knowledge. Okay? All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at it from the Black's Law Dictionary, and then we're going to go to Wikipedia as a secondary source. All right? There's no American Aboriginal Law Dictionary per se. I mean, you know, our laws was just real simple. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You know, we modeled the laws of nature. Okay? And that's what we need to live by. But of course, within the system, it's not about law. It's a legal system that overrides law. All right? So you have to keep that in mind. So this is what is color of law, and that is Black's Law Dictionary, second edition. Black's Law Dictionary is used within the legal system throughout the United States. Okay, now what is the color of law? It's the appearance or semblance. What is the appearance? Okay, the appearance is like, look like, semblance without substance. So it looks like without substance of what? A legal right. All right. So when you're being governed under the color of law, or all these statutes and codes and ordinances, all right, they are being governed under the color of law. It's in appearance. It's a semblance of what law is, but it's not law. Okay. It appears to be. Okay. It's the shadow of law. It is the reflection of law. Just like how your shadow is not you, but however, your shadow is real, because you make it real. Okay? Now, if you take the light, if you have a shadow and you take the light and you put the light exactly right over your head, the shadow will disappear. That's law, because you are standing in the light. It doesn't give a shadow. However, when you're not standing in the light, in law, then there is a shadow and you're being governed under the color of law. Well, man, that just came to my head. Okay? So, color of law, appearance, semblance, without the substance of legal right. Black's Law Dictionary. Let us go look at it from a different perspective, a different source. Okay? Let me share my screen. So we could go a little more in detail, okay? And this is of Wikipedia, just so you know. All right, here we are. In the United States law, the term color of law denotes the mere semblance of what? Legal right. The pretense or appearance of a right Hence, an action done on the color of law adjusts colors. Okay? The law to the circumstance, yet said apparently legal action contravenes the law. Under color of law, authority is a legal phrase used in the US indicating that a person is claiming or implying the acts he or she is committing are related to and legitimized by his or her role as an agent of governmental power. Now, I'm just going to break that down in layman's terms. All right. Basically, all they're saying is this. What the United States have adopted is a term of color of law, and it denotes that we are not being governed by actual law. It is a semblance of law. Okay, that's what it is. It is a pretense or appearance of right. Okay, just so you know, on the color of law, adjust colors. So for those of you who want to go around calling yourself a color, that is what you are dealing with. Okay? Now, let us, and I've always shown this, but I'm going to show it again, because repetition is the key. Let me see if that's going to populate. Give me 1 second, please. All right, here we go. I think we good to go. Yep. Black means dead in law.
According to MV Organizing, socially and politically, black implies civiliter mortuus, which means dead in the eyes of law.
Okay, so here you go. When you call yourself black in the United States, okay, you have no rights. You are dead in law. Hence, you are being governed always under the color of law, pretended law, an appearance of law, a semblance of law. It is not law. That is why the prison population is made up of over 80% of people who look like us. Okay? All right, let me see if I can show you something else. I think it's let me see. I think it's Title 28 242. I'm not sure. Let me just check and see real quick if it's 242. Give me 1 second. I think it's 242 or 241. The crime, the prisoner acting under the color of law, willfully deprived. Okay, yep, there we go. Okay. Although, all right, even if you're being governed under the color of law, you may still have some type of legal standing, but a lot of people don't know. Okay, a lot of people are not aware of that. All right, let me. I would rather go to Cornell University. Give me 1 second. Let me go to Cornell with this one here. When I'm done with this, I'm gonna go get me some fruits and I'm gonna chill. I just wanted to make sure I give you guys that before I shut down. All right. So here we are. Title 18. Okay. Title 18 code section. Title 18 section 241 conspiracy against rights. Okay. And that deals with the color of law. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Hold on for 1 second. Injure, oppress, if someone in disguise, how? Nope. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll find it for you. Deprive a person. 242. All right, it says 242. All right, let's try this one. All right, here we go. Okay. All right. We have Title 242. All right. Section 242 of Title 18 makes it a crime for a person acting on the color of law of any law to willfully deprive a person of a right or privilege protected by the Constitution or law of the United States. So even though you are being governed under the color of law, you still have some form of legal standing if you know you're right. Okay? So if anyone, okay, acting under the color of law willfully, because just so you know, the policy enforcers, they are operating under the color of law, just so you know. Okay? Because a lot of them don't know the Constitution, even if they swore an oath to, to protect the Constitution, all right, and respect the Constitution. A lot of them don't do that. So that means if they're coming outside of the Constitution, that means they're operating under the color of law. So they have to be aware of Section 242, Title 18, and it says, if any person, okay, and let me explain that to you, one who's acting in a fiduciary capacity, meaning that you're a public servant, you work for me, all right, but you're operating under the color of law, willfully deprive a person of the right or privilege protected by the Constitution or laws of the United States. Now, mind you, that word person is also a loaded word, because you have legal persons and you have natural persons. Legal persons only have privileges and they have no rights. Natural persons have rights, unalienable rights. Legal persons don't. All right? So please know the difference. For the purpose of Section 242, acts on the color of law include acts not only done by federal, state, or local officials within their lawful authority, but also acts done beyond the bounds of that official's lawful authority. If the acts are done while the official is purporting to or pretending to act in performance of his or her official duties, persons acting under color of law within the meaning of this state include police officers, prison guards, and other law enforcement officials, as well as, yes, judges, care providers in the public health facilities, and others who are acting as what public officials, including county clerks, everyone. Okay? Federal postal workers. It is not necessary that the crime be motivated by animus toward the race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin of the victim. The offense is punishable by a range of imprisonment up to what? Lifetime or death penalty, depending upon the circumstances of the crime and resulting in injury, if any. Okay? So you have to know your rights. If you don't know your rights, then, or if you don't exercise your rights, then that means you don't have any rights. Okay? So I hope you guys got some value from this information. Once again, teach your children. And I'm not teaching you these things to go out there and just be wild. Okay? I want you guys to educate yourselves. Learn the information. Apply the information. Remember, the only time a crime is committed is when you have harmed someone or damaged somebody's property. That's lawfully. Okay? Everything else outside of that, they are called violation of codes, statutes, and regulations. Those are not lawful crimes. So you have to ask the question, what lawful crime did I commit? Not just what crime, because a parking ticket could be considered a crime if they so choose. Okay? You feel me? If your insurance is out, that could be considered a crime. If you run a stop sign, a stoplight, that could be considered a crime. It's not a lawful crime, but it's a legal crime. Okay? The only time you have committed a legal crime, okay, is when you have harmed someone or damaged somebody's property. And even then, you have a right, okay, to work that grievance with the person that you harmed, okay? If it cannot be done, your first attempt should always to motion the court to see if it could be settled outside of the court. That's how it was done in biblical days. And guess what? The Bible is in every court. In 1983 or 85, I think President Clinton, if I'm not mistaken, made it the year of the Bible, and it was put in every court. So therefore it's been operated, okay, under the laws of the Bible. So you have every right as a man or a woman. Now, mind you, I didn't say person. As a man or a woman, okay, to work your grievances outside of the court. And if that's what you determined to do, and the other party that was harmed or property was damaged, if you guys could come to an agreement, there's nothing the police could do about it. Okay? However, if it cannot be worked out, then it goes before the people. Now remember, the court is not the building. The court is the people. Just like how church is not the building, the church is the people. So it's actually people's court. So when you go before the court, you're going before the people. Now the question remains, who are the people? The state is not the people. The state is an entity. I want to know the people. You don't just give me a ticket and tell me what the state versus me. No, I have a right to face my accuser. If it's the state of Tennessee, if it's the state of Jersey, the state of New York, well, please, I would like to meet Mr. Jersey or Mrs. Jersey. I would like to meet Mr. New York and Mrs. New York. Let me face my accuser. And anytime you want to charge me with an infraction, if the charge is over $20, I want a trial by jury because that's the law. You see, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. Because too many of you are too distracted with entertainment, with everything that's happening around you, and not minding your business. Your business is to sharpen your skills. Your business is to renew your mind. That's your business. Because our children are being victims of this corporation. And your leaders, your celebrities, the one you idolize, the one you support, they know this. Study to show yourself improved. It is really that simple. Okay? Always remember, anytime they pull you before the court, they'll tell you, well, you know, the court make you think it's the building. No, the court is the people. I want to see the people. Show me the people. All right? Show me who I've harmed. Show me whose property I damaged. Or else I haven't committed a crime. An infraction is not a crime. Okay? It's not a crime. Is an infraction a misdemeanor, or is it a federal crime? It's a misdemeanor. Know your rights. Now, I'm not teaching you these things to be disrespectful, okay, to policy enforcers. No, that's not what it is. But I would like you to equip yourself with the knowledge, because it's about respect. You respect my right, I'm going to respect you. It is really that simple. I am not anti-police. I'm not anti-government. No, I'm not. Okay? Because if anybody violate me, I'm going to call the police. Because people don't know how to act. All right? But at the same time, I don't want the police to violate my rights. I support good policing. I support police who uphold the Constitution. Because we gave them the Constitution so they can keep themselves in check. And the sooner you stop calling yourself black, the sooner you'll realize your life will change. Not just physically in the system, but in a spiritual realm. Because it has to be mental first. It has to be spiritual first. Let go of that curse. Give it back. Okay? Rebuke that curse. And always remember, if you haven't committed any crimes, harm someone, damage somebody's property, always challenge jurisdiction. It is really that simple. But that's another story. All right, guys. So you guys, I'm going to talk to you a little later. I've been on for almost an hour. I promise you, okay? This is I'm after this lesson right here, I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to take a break, all right? I'm going to get some fruits and I'm going to go relax myself. All right? I love y'all, for real. That's why I'm putting in all this work. All I'm asking is to learn the information, teach your children, go to the site. Our site is www. Type it in. Let me type it in here. All right. Here we go. www.ipnan.org. Okay. Please go there and support. There's a link to support all the work that I'm doing. All right. So we could keep bringing this information to you. All right. Like I said, I'm putting a couple of things together, working on a few things. Eventually, we're going to start, extending memberships so we could start building together and putting some things together, some moves we need to make. Okay. I cannot do it by myself. We have to do it as a collective. All right. So we'll have memberships coming soon. So to each and every one of you, I'm sending love and positive energy out there. Continue to be good to each other, respect each other. Let's just build, man. Let's build. It's time to build. All right. We had enough of the breaking down. We had enough of the degradation of our people, the belittling of our people. It's time for us to come together and start respecting each other. Let us start calling each other brother and sister once more. You see what I'm saying? We have to start addressing each other as that. Let us feel that family impact. You see what I'm saying? If I call you my brother, if I call you my sister, you call me your brother, all right? Then it's more difficult for me to see you as an enemy. You see what I'm saying? If I call you God, if I call you goddess, if I call you king, I call you queen. You call me God, you call me king. It's a form of respect. You see what I'm saying? Instead of looking at me and trying to call me the N word. I don't want nobody to call me the N word. I'm not that. Don't call me that. You feel me? To me, that's not a term of endearment. Isn't it a term of endearment to call a sister queen or call a sister goddess? Why you got to call her a female dog? You see what I'm saying? So really, we are the ones that's keeping ourselves down. First, we have to change the attitude towards each other. And I know it's tough for some people, but you have to fight the urges of vibrating in that low frequency. You know what I'm saying? Rise above that. Change the foods that you eat. Change your thought process. And how do you do that? You listen to different things, different information, listen to different music. Stop hanging with the people that you hang with. Okay? If you sleep with dogs, you're going to catch fleas. That's how you renew your mind, changing your environment. Whatever you intake, whether it's music, food, information, whatever it is, you have to change it in order for you to change. It is really that simple. And only you are responsible for your change. Nobody else but you. All right? So, you guys have a great continuation. And I'll see you guys on the